Hey guys, how's it going? I know it's been a long time since I posted, but with the whole update, it's kind of thrown everything into chaos, and I kind of wanted to get my bearings first before I went and made another video. But tonight I want to go over the new top team that's terrorizing Arena and how you're going to beat it, and some kind of principles about mana denial, since mana denial is now a very big thing. So the first thing you're going to notice is that every team starts with Strybog and Vigil just about, or some combination of mana gain support hero. The best way I've found to fight this is you can either A, fight on the same axis and have the same team. I'm doing the exact same thing down here where I've got Strybog and Sigil, and you can just try to play the waiting game. A lot of these teams now are attrition based. You can see that not a lot of people are using the purple dragon. They're using Nagash and just trying to heal and stay alive till the damage increase. The damage increase changed a lot of the meta. Now everything is trying to outweight you and then just kill you in one shot at the very end of the game. It's made everything very chaotic. So I want to go over that team, how it works, and how you're going to beat it. You're also going to notice that none of these teams are running immunity as far as Tessix goes, except for this guy. I don't know why he's doing that. So I'm going to go back up here. And a good example here will be this guy. So he's in the top 5. This is a pretty standard team. Since nobody's using immunity anymore, Zarkon is a good offensive hero to use. I know Martin is immune to poison, but since we have Theo, we can stop him from healing. The biggest thing with this is that when Strybog and Sigil get going, you have a huge snowball effect with buffs, which act as a pseudo type of immunity. And the only way to really fight that is to just go off before they do, unfortunately. So we're going to match heavy blue and purple and a little bit of white. Well, yellow. And the faster we can get our buffs going and get Theo on his heal block, we'll be in good shape. And as far as mana denial goes, you're going to see this theme where you're going to get a lot of gems, like you see this green, these huge clumps, because a lot of people now are running a 3-2 team setup, and you're only matching in certain colors. So you can deny mana by matching just one group of tiles, which we went over in one of our other videos, called defensive tiling, where you can just shift a tile around and have everything else get avoided. So, a good example, I don't want to match any more gems. I just don't. So I'm going to shift that one yellow over and this yellow over, match nothing else. And now there's nothing that he can match on the board that's relevant to his color. He's going to take dot damage. And look at that, 2 turns. He has no buffs. He's about to be heal blocked. Now all I gotta do is wait out this one Strybog. We're gonna dot his team again, and that's gonna be the end of that. Okay, 2 turns. I'm just gonna let the auto battler take over from here. We don't really need to control anything anymore. The damage is done. So that's kind of the biggest issue that these attrition-based teams have, is that they're very weak to dots, but they're very good at making their own type of immunity if they get rolling, which takes about 3 to 4 turns depending upon how many colors they have. What I'm going to do after this battle is I'll show you my defense team and how it plays out on auto, so you have a kind of idea of what it would be like to have, an attrition-based team versus an attrition-based team, and you'll see how it plays and what I mean by pseudo-immunity. Unfortunately, this is going to take forever, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this and resume as soon as I can get this Martin out of here. Okay, that took literally forever, so sorry about the wait on that. So this is my actual defense team. This is what I use in arena. I actually use this to fight a lot depending upon the team I'm fighting. Revenge is a big deal, of course. And this is the other way that you can fight the new top tier teams, which is attrition based. I guess you can fight it on the same axis as they're fighting, which is just very tanky. Martin, he's just a monster. So I want to show you how this all plays out. And another thing I want to go over is speed. Speed, even though they changed how it works, it's probably more relevant now than it was before, because you'll still get these streaks where your team goes before their team, almost to an obnoxious amount. You'll get streaks of 4 or 5, or like your whole team will go before or after their team, and there's something to be said about that as well. If your team can go first, you have a better chance of just winning outright, because you can stack damage and dots and get a huge lead that they might not be able to recover from, as well as stacking the board in your favor. Like I said, getting set up with this team takes about 4 or 5 turns. Not super worried though. Once it starts getting rolling, you'll see that it's pretty all downhill. You can see that there's so many buffs going on now that a dot team wouldn't really do a whole lot. My sigil is maxed, so if I did get any dots on me, there's a large chance that I would just get cleansed. And that's also great because it comes with 20 mana. You can see on my team, I'm getting 40 mana per turn, 60 overall in 2 turns with Starbug, so you start to chain these specials very quickly. Aurora gives you pseudo healing. She's maxed as well. I think it's 30%. Yeah, 30% of the health. So having a large health pool is very important here as well. And when you're fighting these teams though, you just want to try and target their tank and practice mana denial. So you see, I can't really match a whole lot else here that's going to impact my team or their team. I could match purple gems, but I don't need to do that right now. I'll do it anyways, just because it's 1 more yellow. That's even better. Headboard King. So I'll move this over, separate those blues. Target is Gladiosa. And pretty sure the next couple turns we're gonna get that Gladios out of here. The biggest thing you're gonna find is that there's almost always a Nefri on one of these teams. It's also pretty annoying. One thing you can do is use your turn bar and kind of try and fight the next fight. You see that Gladiosa is going next. She's going to match purple for sure. Biggest thing I want, though, is I don't want Martin to go off so I can start attacking everything. Why? So I stop attacking everything. I don't want Nefri to start healing and putting her link on stuff either. So I have yellow matched on the one side. I'm just going to move this yellow a little bit deeper down. And that's good, because if I hadn't moved it, they would have had yellow there for next turn. They're still going to get it, but it's going off the turn after I get to go, which means I can probably kill Gladiosa. I lied, I didn't have any mana buffs. But that's okay, we don't need them. We're not in any danger here. I'm going to apologize in advance for this very long video. It's these teams, they go so long into fighting that it's very common to have 10-minute fights where it ends up coming down to, you know, the 20th turn of extra damage, and you finally get the one-shot something, and after that you can get kind of an initiative to keep fighting back and eventually kill their team. When one falls, the rest of them usually fall right after. The biggest thing to match on these teams, though, is yellow. Like, you always want to go for yellow first. Even if you don't have yellow on your team, it's the best color to match. Well, not the best color, but the ideal color to match to kind of shut their tank down. Alex is another good choice. I personally don't like Alex. I also don't have Alex, so it doesn't really matter too much. Fortify, though, is insane. It can save you from Sophia's, 30 turns deep into damage. I also recommend Martin for raid bosses. I know raid bosses are now a huge problem that people just are having issues dealing with. I know I'm being a little bit quiet here, guys. Trying to get this over with. If there's any kinds of questions you guys have about these teams, or even better yet, a new thing I'm trying to start doing is, subscriber arena teams. If you want to know how your team or your team idea would stack up against, the best in arena, let me know. Drop a comment with what your team is. If I have the ability to make it, either with what I have or, sort of efficiently level that team up, I'll 100% do it. I love a good team as much as the next guy. And I'll be the first to admit that I don't know all the synergies. You guys could break the game by telling me a team I don't know. Alright, so we finally knocked Gladios down once. Now is going to come the real, finisher where Nefri's out. She can't do anything else. We can finally start to kill everything. Just shy of killing, huh? Do this. Get some bonus damage in there. Should knock it out. There we go. Perfect. You can see there that huge stack of buffs. I mean, that right there is why you don't want these teams to start going. You know, if your main heroes and legends were dot heroes, you know, Kusai, Zarkon, for example, you'd have a very tough time getting through that effectively, if at all, to do anything. Especially with the way buffs work now, where they tick down at the beginning of turn and they stay on at the end. Strybog stacking up all those buffs is just, it's brutal. The guy changed arena completely. And here's another, scenario where I don't really want to match anything, so just kind of move this down and move that away and see what happens. Perfect. Move that, be done with it. I know this video is probably kind of boring for you guys. I do apologize. This is, however, unfortunately, the new meta that has shaped up in the top tier. Oh, cool! I get to kill a Strybog now. It's definitely not pleasant for me. I can guarantee you that. This is my daily struggle. I gotta fight about 20 to 30 fights a day. Between revenge and just actual aggressive fighting between other people to get points. I would love to see this change, but not too soon. This can be fun at times. Alright, so now that we're done with all the problems, we can let the auto player take over from here. Gojmir's going to start one-shotting everybody, except for Martin, because Martin's a monster, like I said. And that right there is how you can kind of fight these teams on the same axis. You're going to use a lot of different tactics: mana denial, defensive tiling. Even the order in which you have your team placed in for defense is going to be relevant against these teams. You can see, my team, Martin is the most important. I need Martin to have taunt and to go off first, regardless of what other buffs he has. So he's always going to be first in my lineup to the far left. After that, I need him to have a bubble, Aurora, that I can start getting my mana going. Strybog. Gojmir is just my damage dealer. He doesn't do anything but sit there, look pretty, and kill things. And Sigil, she's just your cleanser and mana machine as well. She always goes last. She's always going to be on your far right. You don't want to waste the mana you get from her. She's going to be too valuable for that. Team comp and team, organization is very important. The higher up the ladder you go. And I'll make another video on that as well as a gearing video on how you would gear, a heavy hitter like Gojmir versus someone like a Zarkon or a Strybog, Aurora. They're all going to get geared a little bit differently, and that's going to be, very relevant. Some of the choices are going to be my own opinions, of course, but if it helps you guys, that's what I'm here for. We're about to wrap all this up. So hopefully, now that you've seen kind of how this team functions and how you can fight it on two different axes with either dots or on the same axis but with a slightly more modified version, or maybe more aggressive version of an attrition team, you have a good idea of how you want to make your team now. Like I said, drop a comment in the area below if you want to see your arena team, and just hit the subscribe button, guys. I'm here for you. Have a good night.